I'll make a quick video if I may. Please forgive the lighting. I'm having this room painted tomorrow, and a lot of stuff has been moved around and emptied out. And it's, a lot of missing things. I hate to have the light on, but the light is over there. There's not a lot of light in this part of the room. But this is the part of the room with the most space in it. I've been very disturbed by Columbia University the past couple of weeks. If you remember a couple of years ago, I'm sure most of you do, we had these college kids that were like, the cop that shot the black suspect didn't go to prison, therefore I'm too upset to go to class tomorrow. Or the person I voted for in the election didn't win, therefore I can't take the test tomorrow. Or I'm very upset about something that happened in another country that's irrelevant to me, therefore I need to pet a puppy, or I need to have hot cocoa, or do a coloring book. I need my safe space. And we were all making fun of them. And I was too, I'm not gonna lie. I'm making absolute fun of them. But now you have these universities that not only it's gone from I need my safe space because of my fucking baby, now it's gone to kill the fucking Jews. Because if you look at some of our most prestigious universities, and yes, a lot of these universities, if you look at the past, a lot of them have histories. Whether that be history of being whites only, or history of having communist professors, or having a communist alumni, or having some freaky asshole that went there for some reason. Okay, a lot of these universities have a lot of skeletons in the closet. The Yale Skull and Bone Society. Well, a lot of schools, especially these prestigious universities, have skulls and bones in the closet. They just don't have a society for them, okay? But Columbia, and keep in mind that Columbia is in New York City, which was the site of 9/11. And the anti-Semitism that they are experiencing is absolutely fucking horrendous. I mean, there's always going to be one asshole that doesn't like Jews. There's always going to be one asshole that doesn't like blacks. There's always going to be one asshole that like really, really wants to rape a woman. Okay? You cannot get away from these freaks of society. There's always going to be one of them somewhere. But if you look at Columbia the past couple weeks, and obviously Harvard a few months ago, Columbia the past couple of weeks, they have literally had students, and not all of them are Muslim. A lot of them are actually white, believe it or not. They walk around, the terrorist neckerchief or scarf with the black and white thing in the ear. And there was a video that went viral a couple years ago where a woman was talking to a Muslim, and the woman was talking to a Jewish speaker, and he told her, "No, are you for or against all the Jews going back to Israel being killed all at once?" And she goes, "For." Okay? Well, now they all have that scarf on. And not only that, they wear the scarf the same way they wear it in the Middle East, over the head, covering the face. And they're literally standing there in the street in New York City saying, "Kill the Jews." Every day is October 7th. We will kill all of you. Okay? Now, in case you can't tell, that is not protected speech. You do not have a right to tell someone, "I am going to kill you." Even if it is a joke, it is still not a joke. You know what I mean? Like, the laws, especially after 9/11, the laws governing threats, there is no more joke. Either you said it or you didn't. Okay? If I say I'm going to shoot up a school, if I say I'm going to bomb a mall, if I say I'm going to hijack an airplane, okay? They don't care if I'm joking or not. The simple fact that I said it means it's a threat. Okay? We've all heard those stories about the Secret Service where some asshole called and threatened some politician, And next thing you know, the Secret Service or the marshals are at their door. Okay? Yeah. The Supreme Court has said making threats against someone's physical safety is not protected speech. And virtually every state and federal local law has basically said flat out, since 9/11 at least, we're not going to laugh anymore. If you make a terroristic threat, we're going to take it seriously automatically. There is no, it's either you said it or you didn't say it. There is no more laughing. Okay? So when these guys are saying we're going to kill the fucking Jews, it doesn't matter if they're joking or not. And tell you the truth, they don't look like they're joking. Because the joke is the asshole that gets drunk, calls in a bomb threat, and then when the police come, they tricks his phone, whatever, the police come, or the FBI comes, he cries like a fucking baby and pisses his pants. Okay? Well, these guys are dedicating hours upon hours upon hours of their lives to waving the Palestinian flag, saying they support Hamas specifically, saying we're glad the Jews are being killed, we're going to kill you too, running around with the terrorist scarf on their face, covering their eyes, covering everything but their eyes. They're staying on public streets, saying death to Israel, death to the Jews. And in some colleges, Jewish students and professors are literally being chased in the halls, cornered into rooms. Okay? And it is fucking terrifying. Now, my hope is that you're going to get some really, really big, even though like Dolph Lundgren has been to college 3 times. He has a master's degree in chemical engineering from MIT. You see how big that motherfucker is? My hope is that you're going to get some really, 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 really big guy. Whether he's at Iona or Harvard, you're going to get a really, really big fucking monster style guy like 6'4", 250 pounds, who was very smart and is able to go to one of these schools, and he's going to say, I'm a Jew. Now let's talk. Okay? You're going to get some really big fucking guy that's going to be like, okay, you want to do something, do something. And then we'll see how tough these kids really are. Because a lot of these kids are really tough when they're walking around in groups of 50, threatening little girls that are like 5'1" and shit. But I want to see like a 6'4", 250 pound Dolph Lundgren or Arnold Schwarzenegger style guy, like a real big muscle guy, say, I'm a Jew. What do you want to do now? Or you may get a Jew, especially a Jew from Israel, who comes to visit New York City. You say, wait a minute, let me go down there, let me talk to him for a few minutes. You're going to get some IDF guy or some special forces guy or some crazy guy like that that's going to be like, hey, fuck with me. You know, you want to kill the fucking Jews. I'm a Jew. Kill me. That happened a lot with a lot of terrorists. If you look at a lot of terrorists, they're killing fucking women and children and shit in the Middle East. And then either the U.S. military, the British military comes in and they shut the fuck up. Okay, that's the old saying, pick on someone your own size. But it's just fucking disturbing. And Colombia has basically said, yeah, we're gonna let it continue. We're not gonna get involved in this. We respect our students' free speech. And a couple of the congressmen, including Omar, whose daughter was arrested, by the way, and the idiot AOC, well, students have free speech, and Republicans are squashing their free speech. Okay? This is what happens when you elect the dumbest among you to lead you. Okay? Remember, the Democratic Party is not going to stand up to Muslim terrorists because they realize that they need the Muslim terrorist vote. And I don't mean Muslims as in all Muslims are terrorists. Not every Muslim is a terrorist. I know a lot of Muslims that are not terrorists. Okay? Fair warning. But the Democratic Party wants the Muslim vote. And if the Muslim vote includes the terrorist vote, they don't give a fuck. So that's why the Democratic Party across the board is turning a blind eye to this shit. Or some Democrats are actively supporting it. Well, like I said, the dumbest among you. Because if they listen to the Supreme Court said you do not have a right to say fighting words. Which means if I call a woman a whore in front of her husband, he may likely punch me in the face. That is a fighting word. I can be arrested. If I say, hey, let's go outside and break into cars, even if no one listens to me, the simple fact that I said it means I can be arrested for inciting a riot. If I tell someone I'm gonna fucking kill you, I can be arrested because that is a threat against their physical being. Okay? What needs to happen is the police, whether it's the FBI, the state police, NYPD, the police need to come in and they need to arrest every single one of these guys and charge them with making terroristic threats. Okay? Because they're standing on the street corner in plain view in broad daylight saying, we will kill the fucking Jews. And that is not protected speech. Okay? Now, these kids are fucking little whiny babies, okay? Most of these fucking kids are there because they have rich parents. Okay? They have rich parents. They've been brainwashed and radicalized by other professors because you don't forget, you go to Columbia. One professor is a Jew. One professor is a Muslim terrorist. And they've been brainwashed by these professors to hate Israel, to hate Jews. Okay? But these fucking kids, okay, like I said a minute ago about what if some big tough guy comes along, okay? Well, take these fucking kids and put them in jail in the general population. Let's see how tough they really are. Because when they have that fucking scarf on and they're outnumbering the Jews 50-1 saying kill the fucking Jews, they're real tough. Take that kid, handcuff them, put them in Rikers Island for a couple of days, put them in general population, okay? Surround them with 50 big thugs, okay? Let's see how tough they are. Okay, and Jews that go to Columbia, you need to sue. Okay, the university has an obligation to expel these kids. And even if they can't get an indictment down, even if they can't get a prosecution down, and keep in mind, we have a kangaroo trial in Manhattan for the United States president right now. Okay, they arrested the president because X number of years ago, he paid a bitch to go away. Okay? Why don't they arrest these guys in New York City, in Manhattan of all places? Okay? They can go down there right now, videotape 5 minutes, arrest everybody, play the tape in court, and get a conviction. Making terroristic threats. They are on camera on a public street in broad daylight saying we will kill the fucking Jews. That is a terroristic threat. It violates many different codes. You can get a conviction in state and federal court. And they're on camera saying it in broad daylight, so they can't deny it. Okay, but Columbia needs to expel these kids. Columbia has every right to expel them on the grounds they're making the learning environment hostile for their classmates. Okay, you do not have a right to threaten your classmate. Okay, and I can walk around on campus and I can say, hey, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. Doesn't have religion, doesn't have sexual orientation. I threatened to punch a kid in the face on campus. The college can expel me. Okay, so we have a bunch of students that are standing outside on a public street, even if they're not on school property. They're standing in a public street or in the main square, wherever the fuck they're standing, and they're saying, kill the fucking Jews, bomb Israel, destroy Israel, we love Hamas, we are Hamas, you fucking Jewish pig. Okay? Videotape that and expel all of them. And there was a Jewish girl on Fox News, she was on 2 days in a row, once in the street, once in the studio with Martha. And she said flat out, I'm afraid they're gonna kill me. I had moved out of my dorm off campus, I'm afraid they're gonna fucking kill me. And she wasn't fucking joking. And I don't fucking blame her. Because don't worry about the 500 guys that say, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Worry about the one guy that puts it into action. Okay? Because the one guy that puts it into action, it only takes one guy to throw a Molotov cocktail bomb. Okay? It only takes one guy to get in a car and run people over. It only takes one guy to get a knife and stab guys. Okay? And even if they don't kill a lot of people, if you have a guy who does Allahu Akbar and pulls out a fucking knife and stabs one person, well, you know what? For that one person's family, that was 9/11. You don't need a big spectacle of terrorist attack like 9/11 to make a point, okay? They can kill one person, and for that one person, that's 9/11. Because for that one person, they are dead, and their family is destroyed. Okay, that's the problem. The problem is, what if one of those 500 kids goes out and kills somebody? What if one of those 500 kids sets up a bomb? It only takes one kid. It only takes one. Back in the 70s, there was a university in Moscow, and the most famous alumni got kicked out after year two. Carlos the Jackal. Now, Carlos the Jackal is an inflated ego terrorist, okay? He was credited with 5,000 terrorist attacks, and he did maybe 1% of the attacks he was credited with. But this university in Moscow, during the height of the Soviet Union, they were a special university that recruited kids from all over the world to go to the Soviet Union and be brainwashed in the ways of communism and the ways of terrorism. And the hope was that these kids would go back home, or the home be the Middle East, home be Africa, home be South America, home be North America, home be Europe, home be Asia, wherever home is, go back to home and start communist revolutions and start terrorism. And when Carlos the Jackal went there, he got kicked out after 2 years, but during that 2 year period, he became brainwashed by the Palestinian cause, and he joined the most radical terrorist group. He joined the terrorist group that pioneered airline hijackings. Okay, they made Yasser Arafat's group look like Sesame Street. Okay, now you have in the United States of America, you literally have students, and like the university, don't forget, the University of Moscow, that school was for rich kids, and Carlos the Jackal's father was rich. So it's rich kids who go to these schools, get brainwashed, come home, become terrorists, guerrillas, communists, other radicals. Now you have, here in America, the United States of America, you have these rich kids, most of them are American, some maybe from other places, and they're going to school in America, and they're becoming more brainwashed and more radicalized than the guys in the 70s. Think about that for a minute. The guys in the 70s in the University of Moscow were less brainwashed than the guys in Colombia today. And from that group, we get Carlos the Jackal. Who is going to be in this group? I guarantee you there will be one terrorist in this group. And for his family, for the family of the victims, it's going to be fucking horrible. Okay? I remember when I was in college, I went to local colleges, thank God, and all these fucking brainwashed universities. Okay? And I'm telling my kids in the street, I said, when you go to college, do research first. Make sure you're not going to go to college that's radicalized. Okay? Because you don't want to go to a nice college and have a fucking guy say Allah Akbar in class. Okay? I mean, we're worried about these school shootings. What about these guys? What about that skinny little white that gets bullied and comes back with a gun? And that happens. If you go to you see all these school shootings, 9 out of 10 times they're little white kids, and a lot of the time they're bullied. Look at these guys. They're over 21 years old. They're from wealthy families, and they're uber fucking crazy. Imagine how bad they're gonna be. And this is not a joke. This is not. I'm not joking, my friends. This is serious. Okay? If you have a application to a really nice school, you need to stop what you're doing, look at that school, and see if this is going on. If it is going on, you need to shred your application and go to a local college. If you are in these schools right now, I encourage you to leave immediately. Because why do you want to dignify this? Knowing that what something happens on campus to you, God forbid. Okay? This is not a fucking joke. This is serious. Okay? There's an old saying, the further we get away from September 10th, the closer we get to September 11th. What that means is on September 10th, we as a nation were walking around in a fucking daze. We didn't care about anything at all. And then all of a sudden, boom, 9/11 happens. Okay? Well, pay attention to these kids. Because one of these kids is a fucking terrorist. One of these kids from Columbia, from Harvard, one of these kids that you see running around saying, kill the fucking Jews, he is going to put his plan into action. Okay? And you got to watch out for that. Okay? You need to watch out for that. Okay? I would be very, very concerned if I had my family member in that school. I'd be very concerned. It's not a joke. And the joke is hardly anyone's reporting it. I was telling a couple of guys locally, friends or co-workers or guys in the street, what's going on? They have no idea. Because the media doesn't report as much. You have 10 news channels and one news channel reports it. Okay, this is dangerous. You have the heart of New York City, you have a bunch of radicalized nutballs. Okay, and they don't need to be Al-Qaeda. They could be a lone wolf. And most terrorist actions are done by lone wolves. And if you look, this lone wolf kills 5, this lone wolf kills 3, this lone wolf kills 9. It adds up, people. Okay, it adds up. These guys need to be arrested and charged and prosecuted. And Colombia needs to be sued because Colombia is doing nothing to help these kids, the Jewish kids, or even the kids that just want to be left alone. Colombia is allowing this environment to flourish. If Colombia kicked out every single one of those fucking kids, it would end in 5 minutes. Okay? Like I said, young people, you're getting ready for college, or you're starting college, or maybe you're in a community college and you want to transfer to a big college for your bachelor's degree, do your research. If you see this shit, leave immediately. Okay? Shred your application, leave, transfer, just get away. I'm warning you. Okay? Don't give these colleges your money. Don't give them this justification. Okay? Protect yourselves. Thank you.